Let's get it.
Yeah. Gucci. Hey man, check this shit out, man. It's just for the rocker, man. The nigga Young Jeezy, man. That nigga fake, man. That nigga's not a thug, man. That nigga's a waster, man. I mean, gangster.
Actor.
I mean, rapper. NBC. I mean, CTE. Fuck the niggas. Let me get out.
The dope game hard, the rap game easy. This is round one of Gucci Man vs. Jeezy. Gucci Man vs. Jeezy. This is round one of Gucci Man vs. The dope game hard, the rap game easy. This is round one of Gucci Man vs. Jeezy. Gucci Man vs. Jeezy. This is round one of Gucci Man vs. I'm a East Atlanta boss, dirty South like Slim Thugger. Jeezy can make a hit with a Louisville slugger. Slap Coach K, piston, slick puller. Punch, kick it, be dead in his dick sucker. Poppin' on the radio, boy, that's a geek stunt. Wild with HB, smoking on a geek giant. Played you out of verse, cause I knew you was a big crowd. Made Lil Will see the hook, for a 50 slab, nothing investigation. Now I know your background, heard you from Hawkinsville, coming back from Mactown. Think you got a buzz, cause you're known as strokers. Got 3 deals, but the niggas still local. The dope game hard, the rap game easy. This is round one of Gucci Man vs. Jeezy. Gucci Man vs. Jeezy. This is round one of Gucci Man vs. The dope game hard, the rap game easy. This is round one of Gucci Man vs. Jeezy. Gucci Man vs. Jeezy. This is round one of Gucci Man vs. You the perfect example of what a crab is. Chopper hit you, make you scream out your ad-libs. Let's get it. So the hood gon' feel it. You the perfect example of what a crab is. Chopper hit you, make you scream out your ad-libs. Let's get it. So the hood gon' feel it. That 645, you leasing it. In icy video wearing Nietzsche shit. 3 cents off an album that Jeezy get. Put a dress on, nigga, you meet your bitch. You a thug imposter, you deserve an Oscar. Album ain't hot, Def Jam bout to hang around the fourth. Claiming you from Boulevard, old ass Ferrari. You bought that shit from Boulevard. Nothing to prove.
What's happening? So y'all know we got to talk about this real quick. I'm not going to make this some long, drawn-out video. I'm going to make this real quick just to get my 2 cents in because I know what the popular opinion is and I just want to give the whole thing some perspective because I know what y'all thinking. I know a lot of people thinking that Jeezy had it. Jeezy won that battle last night. Sorry, y'all. I've been a little sick. I got an issue with my nose. So if y'all hear me sneezing and whatnot, that's what that is. But I know y'all thinking that Jeezy had it. Everybody's saying Jeezy is the bigger man. Jeezy is the bigger man. But I just want to talk about this. First of all, let's just mention the zodiac signs a little bit. I'm not going to go all into looking in their charts. Sometimes I tell you, y'all can see a lot of people's characteristics. If you really understand just the sun signs or the zodiac signs, you can tell a lot about people's characteristics just from their sign alone. So I'm not going to go all into the chart. Let's just make this a quick video and talk about it a little surface wise as far as Jeezy being a Libra and Gucci being an Aquarius, as well as just being into hip hop music. If you're into rap, if you're into hip hop music, and if you were listening to them at the times where they were really at their height. So I know a lot of people are saying, hey, Jeezy has a better catalog. Jeezy has a better song. Jeezy can rap better and all that stuff, right? And I mean, if we talking song for song, just depending on what you like, if we talking song for song, depending on which side you stand on, it's not like I can't see why people would say that Jeezy is the better one. Y'all feel like I need to shuffle some tarot cards on this. Anyway, I can see why people would go with Jeezy. I mean, there's always sometimes people win things and it's hands down, right? And then sometimes there are people who may be more radio popular or may be more industry popular that people are going to go with just because they have a broader reach. They may be more popular as far as radio play or industry wise. And then there's people that are more Gucci is not underground by no means, but a lot of people, I'm just going to say terms so y'all understand what I'm saying. Not that it necessarily explains it 100%, but a lot of people say with Gucci is more street, or Gucci is more not as industry crossover as Jeezy, because honestly, if you look back at their careers, Gucci has done a lot of music. I don't know, guys. Has he even done more music? I was seeing somebody putting up stats. He might have even made more music than Jeezy has made at this point. You know, you guys can go look that up or whatever the case. But what I see from Gucci a lot of times, either because of things Gucci has been through, you know, going through things he's gone through with drugs or whatever mental issues Gucci may have dealt with, he has not always been as industry as Jeezy. Jeezy's always pretty much seemed to be on the straight and narrow. I know Jeezy talks about, hey, his nickname is the Snowman. I know he talks about selling drugs. I know he ran with BMF, even though there's a lot of, I don't know, do Big Meech and Southwest T, do they like Jeezy? I mean, I don't know. I've heard a lot of back and forth about Jeezy basically being a hoe when it comes from the perspective of a BMF. You know what I'm saying? So, and even if they've gotten over that, they definitely fell out with Jeezy around the time they went to jail and everything like that, basically saying Jeezy was the music, but BMF was really the ones who was doing things in the street, the things that Jeezy was talking about in his music. And, you know, when things went down, when niggas went to jail, you know, Jeezy might have got a little flighty or whatever the case. I can't speak on that. I'm not a part of the BMF, not affiliated with with BMF, but that's just, I mean, you can go look that up. That's out there for anybody to see. That's pretty much public information. I'm not giving you no insider shit. So, you know, I'm just painting a picture and letting you know how Jeezy may be seen as more of the industry person, the person that's always pretty much been on the straight and narrow, regardless of what he talks about in his music. Jeezy the Libra has always pretty much been like the straight and narrow in my eyes, or whatever the case. Jeezy, Gucci, the Aquarius, he's always had difficulties. He's always, you know, it seems struggled with the drug use, you know, just things he was going through, obviously, that were mental, you know what I'm saying? And just the things he'd been through in his life. Even catching that case where he had to take somebody's life, and he ended up getting off on self-defense for that case. And here's where it kind of comes down to my opinion on the whole thing. I'm riding with Gucci all day. And like I said, I give it to the people who feel like Jeezy had the better songs, Jeezy's songs hit. And one thing to me is Jeezy's songs don't hit like that no more, y'all. It's like a few Jeezy songs that I could still listen to this day, like the one with Future, like, you know, my partner on brown and you know I'm on white. You know what's going down. I could do this all night. Let's get to the papers. Whatever. You know, with Future, I woke up early this morning. You know, 3 white girls from the Pink Pony. Like, that shit still knocks. It's a couple songs by Jeezy that I do have on my playlist still, that I still knock, that I still bang in my car. But them Gucci songs hit like they knew. Like, Gucci stuff is just, I don't know. A lot of his songs just is kind of timeless to me. Them beats, all that still hit like it's new. But anyway, getting back to just my opinion on it. I'm not taking nothing away from people who truly feel like Jeezy won that. Because you got valid reasons to feel that way. It makes sense. I think he's a more mainstream. I don't want to say mainstream because it's not like Gucci isn't mainstream, but Jeezy is just a more industry cat. To me, he's had more radio songs, not features, but Jeezy's own songs. He's had more radio songs that's just kind of got more rotation. That's just how I feel when I reminisce and think back over the years of me listening to the radio, because of course I'm in my 30s, so I was there to hear both of their careers kind of come to fruition. And I can remember when So Icy came out, I can remember when Gucci came out, and when Jeezy was out. Like, a lot of people up on the East Coast, where I'm from, Maryland, Baltimore, like, they really, really fucked with Gucci. They fuck with Jeezy too. They fuck with Jeezy heavy here. It's not that they don't, but it just seemed like Gucci got a different kind of love to me. You know what I'm saying? But we all know Gucci's been through things over the years, like where he just, I don't want to say he ever fell. He never fell off, but he's just gone through I think his personal life has affected his career in a lot of ways. But the reason why I say I'm Gucci all day, I side with Gucci, and I'm being biased in this battle because it's about more than music to me. Even if you go in song for song, I still think you could say Gucci, because it depends on the kind of music you like. If you like that popular, on the radio kind of stuff, then okay, choose Jeezy. But if you like that more, like I said, I can't call it underground, but maybe more mixtape, not so much popular radio shit, stuff that you could just have in rotation, and you ain't got to get turned up. You ain't got to be in the club standing on chairs. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be wearing a full-length chinchilla. You know what I'm saying? With rings on every finger. You just want some shit where the beat knocks, and it's just like a vibe on the record. I think you definitely could go with Gucci. But the reason why I say Gucci in this battle is because I'm taking different things into account. I'm just taking it all into account. First of all, I know a lot of people are respecting Jeezy, but I respect Gucci more. I respect Gucci for even coming to the table to do what he did last night. And I respect Gucci even more for holding his nuts and sticking to how he felt. Because y'all got to remember, I'm not going to get all into the situation that happened between them. Y'all can go look it up, especially with the battle that just happened last night. It's public information. So y'all can go look up and see exactly what went down between Gucci and Jeezy. And this is the thing. Regardless of the role that Jeezy played, Gucci felt some type of way back then, and he felt some type of way now. Unless you affiliated with them camps, unless you know Gucci and were around Gucci and Jeezy personally when that was happening, all that shit y'all saying is just opinion, just like everybody else's, unless you know them personally. So you can't tell a person who done had to been through the trauma of taking somebody's life, which was truly in self-defense, because niggas tried to rob him. Niggas tried to get at him. And if whether Jeezy had anything to do with it or not, if Jeezy put a vibe out there, even if Jeezy was just talking shit, like, yeah, get his chain or something, that could have caused people to do things, even if Jeezy ain't have no involvement with sending people to do it. So I'm just saying, you got to look at things. People have a very one-sided view. A lot of people aren't able to put, I'm a Cancer, so I do it very well. A lot of people aren't able to put themselves in other people's shoes and see things from a broad perspective. You see things from a one-way perspective. And I've heard people say, oh, well, Jeezy ain't do that. Gucci, he dragging it. He ain't telling the truth or what. But that's Gucci's truth. And unless you know them men personally and were personally involved in that situation, you can't tell somebody how to feel when they were put into a situation where they had to take somebody's life. Jeezy, it wasn't people. I've heard people call it an accidental, like really throwing out there. And this is my problem. And this is why I stand with Gucci, because men, and this is men across the board, but I'm talking particularly to my communities, men of color, black men and stuff like that. People so quick to run their mouth to talk about, oh, Gucci had an accidental killing, or, oh, Gucci, still talking about or using it against somebody he killed, or Gucci ain't hard, Gucci was killed somebody by mistake or something like that. You talking about people that ain't never been in that predicament. Never had to hold nothing down like that. Don't know what you would do if you was in that particular predicament. It's real easy to say things like that and be disrespectful from the sidelines when you wasn't that one in that situation. Gucci ain't asked for that situation, and he handled the situation that was brought to him. That could have gone either way. He could have got his life taken. So I can't sit here and say nothing about that man when he did what he had to do to protect his life. You know what I'm saying? And that's whether Jeezy was involved or not. At the end of the day, Gucci feel like he feels some type of way against Jeezy, and it's got to be respected. I don't give a fuck if you from the streets, if you from the suburbs, if you from the motherfucking country, or you from the mountains. If you can't understand human nature and understand where he's coming from, not as just as a black man, just as a human, then, you really need to study more, read more, and broaden your perspective and your culture more. You get what I'm saying? So people have the way they feel, but I go with Gucci, and I say Gucci won that hands down. Number one, just by Gucci doing it. By Gucci being the Aquarius that he was, I had no doubts in my mind that Gucci was going to come on his shit. Because if any of y'all know, and Jeezy did exactly what a Libra does. Jeezy was trying to piece it out. Because at the end of the day, maybe Jeezy didn't have nothing to do with it. Maybe Jeezy felt like that beef was in vain. Maybe the person that Gucci took out, now we know it was Jeezy's associate, but maybe it wasn't his close friend or nothing like that, and people got that misconstrued. And of course, Jeezy gonna run it, Gucci gonna run it in the hole just by the mere fact the person is associated with Jeezy. It don't even have to be his close friend or his close partner. Just by the mere fact that person is an associate of Jeezy is going to give Gucci the right to run that shit in the hole. And you will feel anybody. I mean, you could take it back to the Tupac and Biggie situation. Tupac getting shot in Quiet Studios and feeling like Biggie and them knew Puffy and them had something to do with it. Even if Biggie didn't. Which I don't know. Again, wasn't there. Can't speak on the man's business because I wasn't there. But just as a person with a mind, who's always been pretty damn smart and wise, you know what I mean? At my young years. Even if Biggie and Puffy didn't have nothing to do with it, you would have to understand how Tupac felt the way he felt when he was in their territory and it happened on their turf, going to do a session with them or going to see them or be involved with him. That is freaking fucking human nature. And anybody that don't understand that just have a real narrow view of a life. As a human, once something happened to you like that, number one, you probably already paranoid. You're always going to have that thought. I think only a fool wouldn't associate and start thinking of anybody that could have been involved with it or that could have done it. And if something happens to you like that, and it's on somebody else's turf that you know, or you find out somebody associate, it could be the fucking janitor in the building they own. It don't even have to be nobody close to that person. You're gonna feel a way about that person. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna, unless something has been made explicitly clear to you that person didn't have nothing to do with it. And obviously that wasn't the case between Gucci and Jeezy. Gucci must have never felt that he could 1,000% rule out the fact that Jeezy did or didn't have something to do with it. So I'm just trying to explain to you human nature. And if you guys know Aquarius is, y'all know they pretty smart. I mean, they not no dummies. Most Aquariuses I know, even if they kind of simple or they do dumb shit, y'all know I always say Aquarius is of the streets. So I can understand Gucci's drug experiences, the things he been through, just going hard on every angle because that's what Aquariuses do. Aquariuses go hard in everything they get involved in. You know what I'm saying? Aquariuses live according to their own thoughts of how they think. They're not going to go according to your program or nobody else's program. You know what I'm saying? Aquarius is not, they go against the grain. They not the go along to get along type all the time. They going according to how they feel and what they think and what they want to experience. Libra, on the other hand, Libra stirs up a lot of shit. Libra can be in the middle of a lot of shit. Libra come off as a peacemaker, but a lot of the shit that Libra is making peace about, they had a hand in stirring up and starting and being involved in when they didn't even have to be involved in it. Now, I understand Jeezy from the point of being a peacemaker, wanting to piece it out, wanting to get past it and all of that. But that's easy to say when you're not the one that was put in a position that had to take somebody's life, whether you had or did not have something to do with it. So again, just saying, and to a lot of you that may not mean nothing to you as far as who won the Versus, because a lot of people just looking at it as a straight song for song type of thing, and they're going to go with Jeezy. But I look at it like it was a freaking show. It was a freaking show. I just had the Elemental of Wands card fall out, which tells me Gucci had to make his move. Gucci had to work his magic. Gucci was still feeling that fire because Gucci ain't never really got over that shit. If y'all know Aquarius, y'all know Aquarius are fixed signs. And then I just got the Sun and the Five of Cups. Gucci had to shine a light on things from the past because he still feel a way inside emotionally about it. And I was just going back and forth. Wasn't no argument or nothing, just an intelligent conversation. Going back and forth because about a post on Instagram maybe like 2 weeks ago, because the post has said zodiac signs from the highest level of emotional intelligence to the lowest. The highest was Pisces, and this is emotional intelligence. It wasn't being emotional. It wasn't the most emotional sign. It was the most emotional to the least emotionally intelligent sign. It had Pisces as the highest, Cancer as the second, and I don't remember all the ones that came in between. Scorpio, of course, was pretty high at the top. There were a lot of signs who were high at the top, and then the very last sign was Aquarius. And y'all know the Aquarius was on there getting mad because they was like, what? Aquarius is so intelligent, and Aquarius has emotions. And I said, emotional intelligence doesn't have anything to do with what your IQ is. We're talking about your EQ. It has it really doesn't have anything to do with how much you feel emotions. It's how you process and you use emotions to the best of your abilities. That's emotional intelligence. How aware you are of you, not just your emotions, but other people's emotions too. And what Aquariuses have a very good job of doing is trying to figure other people out, trying to figure themselves out, but not always processing their emotions or dealing with or expressing their emotions. So you, number one, can't be anywhere near the highest emotionally intelligent sign if you don't even know how to process and deal with your emotions. And just this Five of Cups card on the table after the Elemental of Wands and the Sun card is just telling me Gucci still haven't processed those emotions, and you clearly saw that last night, and he had to get it out. And I feel like Gucci did the right thing. I know one of the things that I tend to not complain about, but that just tends to bother me in society nowadays is people don't stand their ground. Like, everybody seems like they want to be a female. I just don't know what happened to men in this society, people who stand their ground. Like, guys go back and forth and they beef and they talk crap about each other and they say this and that, but people don't really stand on what they say. People don't, they so quick to fold. When you want to see men be men, they're so quick to fold, so quick to piece it out or be in each other's ass. Sort of like Chris Brown and Drake making up, or Meek Mill and Drake making up. I've never been one of those people who felt like, and maybe this is where my wisdom comes in as a Cancer. It's one thing to get over something and just come to the table and say, okay, we don't have to like each other, but we can respect each other, right? But I don't believe in talking cold cash shit about people, really having beef against people as adults, maybe when we were kids, and then piecing it out and being all cool and wanting to be in each other's ass. That's just not real men to me. That's not even real women to me. Like, I think it's okay not to like people, but see, because there's a difference between like and respect. I don't have to like you, but as long as you respect me, I'm going to give you your respect. As long as you don't disrespect me, I'm going to give you your respect. That's like when it comes to bosses. Sorry, y'all, my nose is running. I'm kind of blowing my nose. That's why when it comes to bosses, And I got something going on with my sinuses, y'all. And I never really had sinus issues. This is the worst. So when it comes to bosses at my job, I've had a lot of bosses that I don't like. But at the end of the day, guess what? I had to respect them because of the nature of the job, the nature of the business, the nature of the positions we were in. I had to respect them. As long as now if they got out the gate and they disrespected me, then I'm going to disrespect them back. And their whole job might be down the drain. That's the nature of life. But as long as you don't get out of pocket with me and you respect me, I'm going to respect you. So I don't have to like you to respect you. And I just don't feel like a lot of people, and this is how when you get, a lot of times when you hear about people getting killed or murdered or things like that, it was by somebody they knew. It was somebody that was close. It was somebody, that was in their lives. A lot of people are going to come to you with a smile on their face, and like the OJ said, all the time trying to take your place. Backstabbers. It's unless it's a random crime or a serial killer or a stalker or something, usually it's not a stranger who is the one to hurt you, harm you, or abuse you. It's always the people, it's 90% of the time the people you know. So that's why I don't believe in, having dislike for somebody and then turning around and being friends. I don't believe in that, and I never did. I cannot like you from a distance. I cannot like you and not want to hurt you or want to fight you unless you provoke that. I cannot like you and still exist. We don't have to be, everybody's not meant to be friends. We don't all have to be friends to exist. So, I just can't understand when people, it's a thin line between love and hate, because people who hate other people and really don't like other people, a lot of times, unless there's a hardcore reason and somebody did something to you, a lot of times that's an envy. You know what I'm saying? They love you so much that they hate you. And to me, some of the worst type of people that you can be around are people who are jealous of you, who are envious of you. I stay far away from those type of people. I stay far away from anybody that's jealous or envious. I don't hang in them groups. I don't hang in them circles. I don't find it entertaining. And I'd rather be by myself than hang around people who really got ill will towards you in their heart. So that takes me back to what I'm saying about Gucci. I respect that man for coming and standing his ground, not kissing Jeezy ass, not trying to act like it's all kumbaya. Obviously, Jeezy still has stuff, a fire in him, that he wanted to stand his ground and expressing. Yes, we know this thing was all about money. Jeezy and Gucci been around in the game 15, 20 years. So they want to get their names back ringing. They want to get the bells back ringing. And that's really what it was about for Jeezy and Gucci. Jeezy truly wanted to put the beef behind him. He wanted to offer the olive branch. I got the Elder of Pentacles as well. So the older person in the situation, which is Jeezy, he wanted to offer an olive branch so they can get the money. That's really what it was about, and get their names back ringing, because y'all know nothing really Jeezy really done was getting his name back ringing. Like even with him dating Jenny Ma or whatever was going on, he really could not get his name back ringing. Like I said, Jeezy music just don't knock like it used to. It sort of reminds me of T.I., his friend. Like their shit, people just don't have that interest like they used to. But Gucci, it's something about Gucci, which don't surprise me for an Aquarius. Like with the Libras, people just get tired of the Libras after a while. But with the Aquarius, it's like they always stay fresh and new. And that's their Uranus. They can always reinvent themselves. They always come on some different shit. And, I think what Gucci got going on in his life, everybody want to call him a clone. But don't nobody want to give Gucci props. It's like people want to hate on. I don't understand how people's minds work, and that's why we live in the world we live in. The world can be a beautiful place, but it's full of shit, because people are full of shit. People talk about, Jeezy was a bigger person, Gucci immature, Gucci came on that bullshit, blah 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 blah. But then in the same sentence, people will say, that's a clone. We're the old guwap. That's not the old guwap. Like, you don't want a person to improve and be better, but you still want them at the same time to be on the same old bullshit. Like when you just ain't feeling a person, when you just don't like a person, people will say anything. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, as an Aquarius, he always gonna be up with what's going on. You know what I'm saying? He going just, and this is not him trying to be, they just get different inspirations on things they want to do or be involved in. You know what I'm saying? And Aquarius is a fixed sign. So how they feel a lot of times, it don't change. And that really explains why Gucci is still stuck in that feeling. I mean, he got a body. You gonna carry that with you. When I say he got a body, he had to take somebody out this world. You carry that with you for the rest of your life. Don't nobody have a right to tell him how to feel and how not to feel. Y'all need to just respect the fact when you're looking at, I guess, as far as the industry goes, you know, because I don't know what Jeezy do, what Gucci do in his personal life, but as far as the industry goes, y'all just gotta respect the fact when you looking at a real nigga who gonna stand on how he feel and hold his nuts, which a lot of men do not do nowadays. That's why, you know, it's a lack of real men, just real people in general out there. And this is not to take nothing from Jeezy, because Jeezy wasn't in that situation that Gucci was in. So I'm not taking nothing from Jeezy. I'm not saying Jeezy not a real nigga neither. I'm not saying Jeezy has not done good things and all of that. I'm talking about what people don't seem to see and realize about Gucci. It's easy to say Jeezy this and Jeezy is that. But when you're looking at a true underdog who's had true adversity and been through some really real shit that they didn't just escape and sidestep like Jeezy did with the whole BMF, like Jeezy seems to do a lot of situations in his life, Gucci had to deal with that shit. So I think it's just I respect a man who can stand in his shit. Even if at the end of the day, Gucci gonna piece it out. You know, they did So Icy together. He came there standing on how he felt. Came straight out the gate with the diss records, went through the whole battle, giving that energy to Jeezy. Like, nigga, even if I do end up shaking your hand, ain't no pussy up here. I ain't no pussy. Ain't no pussies up here on this stage. Like, I'ma come at you as a man. I'ma stand in how I feel. I still feel some type of way. Again, nobody don't have a right to tell him how he feel. Like I said, Gucci is an Aquarius. It's a fixed sign. If y'all know the fixed signs, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius, y'all know it's hard to change them. If they truly feel a way about something, they ain't changing their mind. You know, you can't tell them shit. Those are 4 signs where you really can't tell them shit. They have to experience things on their own. I think the one who you can kind of talk to and reason with the most is Scorpio. But Scorpio's still going to go on their own way. They're going to do their own thing. But I do think you can probably... Scorpio is... Because Scorpio's always seeking knowledge and how to improve themselves and do better. And Scorpio is very much so into self-discipline. I think Scorpio can be reasoned with a little bit more than the rest, but they all got a super hard ass head. So it goes to Gucci. Gucci was the bigger man. Gucci was the realer man. Gucci stayed true to Gucci. And that's all I ever expect people to do in this lifetime. I don't have expectations of nobody in this life other than to stay true to who you are. Who you are, the shit you do, just stay true to the core of who you are. Keep doing that shit that you always been fucking doing. And when I say what you always been doing, I'm not talking about habits or bad habits or even good habits. I'm saying the core nature of people don't ever fucking change. Don't be somebody you're not. Always stand true to who you are, regardless of the odds against you, regardless of who's against you. Always be true to who you are. On top of the fact, me personally, I just like Gucci's music a little bit better. Now, don't get me wrong. I guess it's not accurate to say I like Gucci's music better, because I have really fucked with Jeezy's music over the years. But the songs I like by Gucci, I really like. I like the way Gucci think. I like his arrogance, that Aquarian arrogance. I like that attitude. Again, I like that he just stay true to himself. If you guys listen to my tarot videos, I always talk about, I got a sister and a brother. He's really my cousin, but is like a brother, that are Aquariuses, right? I got an older sister. She 10 years older than me. She an Aquarius. If y'all ever listen to my channel, I always talk about how she gets, and funny, my mom is a Libra. Again, Jesus is a Libra. Gucci's an Aquarius. My mom is a Libra. My mom is a twin. My mom's twin is a Libra. My mom's twin has 2 sons who we used to be really tight. We grew up like brothers and sisters. So for technical purposes, they're my cousins, but throughout life they've really been like my brothers, because if y'all can imagine, most twins are very tight. So and they're together like all the time. So that's how my mama and her sister was. So her sister sons is twins and they're Libras. So I've been surrounded by Libras and Aquariuses all my freaking life. And it's funny that, you know, my dad is an Aries, which is Libra's opposite sign. And then a lot of my tight friends all of my life have been Leos. I don't know freaking why. And that's Aquarius's opposite sign. So it seems like I've just been surrounded by these signs like all my life. And I like Aquarius is my Aquarius sister. If y'all listen to my videos, y'all know I told y'all she get on my fucking nerves. And there's just really no other way to say it. She really do get on my nerves. And I've had Aquarius as best friends when I was younger. Females I didn't even realize at the time was Aquariuses. So like my first best friend in life was an Aquarius. And one of my best friends or close friends like at the end of middle school, high school was an Aquarius. And I didn't really know that at that time. So it's like they do truly get on my nerves sometimes. They set in their ways, think they know everything, but I'm very tight to like my Aquarius brother. And the male Aquarius I just love them to death, and I got a lot of respect for. I love the females too, and I'm not biased towards Aquarius, because if anything, I probably have gotten along with the Libras more throughout my life. But as I've grown and as I come to really understand Aquariuses, I have a lot of respect for Aquariuses. I have a lot of respect. Aquariuses can have some hard lives. I have a lot of respect for, due to a parent, you know what I'm saying? Like they really can have some rough issues with their upbringing or things that happen to them in their childhood and parents and stuff like that. So I've gained a lot of respect for Aquariuses over time. And even though my sister get on my fucking nerves, I admire her and I love her to death. You know what I'm saying? And I admire the Aquarian in her. She got a lot of Aries in her too, but I admire the Aquarian in her. So I'm not saying it from a bias for Libras against Aquarius, because Lord knows I'm not, I don't like Aquariuses more than I like Libras. I'm just really giving y'all the facts. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. But on top of that, I forgot to say one more thing. Gucci just talked that shit, and Gucci had that shit on. Jeezy came out there looking like 1992, and Gucci was looking like 2037. Like year 2037. Gucci had that shit on. He was looking real winter season-ish, like the, winter runway 2021. He looks good. He has evolved. He's taking care of himself. I think his Capricorn wife, Kashia Kaur, I think she's been a good influence on him. People can say what they want, but anytime that man go from how Gucci used to look and be to now, you gotta respect it. Now that people talk about he a clone, but that shit the old Gucci came out tonight. No, that shit's always gonna be in Gucci. If you watch Gucci, I've been following Gucci on Instagram for a long time, probably since he been on Instagram, and I've been following Jeezy too. Gucci always gonna talk that shit. Gucci always gonna have something to say. The old Gucci never really left. It's just a Gucci without the drugs and the self-abuse and the devaluing and having no love or value for himself. So props to his woman, because that goes to show when you got a good woman in your life, you really can go to new heights and new places. I wish them the best. I wish Gucci the best, because he was looking like a flyest nigga last night. He had that shit on from head to toe. And I know Verzus is not about the looks, but Gucci bought the show. He made that show. Gucci was entertaining. And Gucci is so ugly. He looked fucking good. You know what I'm saying? And I never thought that's something I would say about Gucci ever. But it just goes to show people can evolve. And I just want y'all to look at this from a different perspective. And not just the Jeezy 1, because I think that's really easy to say. But considering the history and the things that went on, I think you really got to give the gold medal, that number 1, to Gucci. So that was me, Madam X, FrequencyRealRadio, in Western astrology. I'm a Pisces moon, but in Vedic, I'm an Aquarius moon. So, I'm always going to bring another perspective. I'm always going to bring a different way for you all to see things. Apologies to anybody who doesn't like my language or the language I use. But any race or color, you can watch this video and appreciate it. I'm never going to change for other people. This is what I'm talking about. I'm always going to be myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And please comment below. Who did you think won that? What's your opinion? What you think about the video? What you think about it from Aquarius, Gucci versus Libra, Jeezy perspective? You know what I'm saying? Air signs was on go last night. Air signs was always turned up. Air signs was on 10. And I went to college at Clark, Atlanta for a good 3 months. So I used to live in Atlanta for 3 months, from about August through November. And August through November, because I went home for Thanksgiving and I didn't come back. Stayed in Myrna Hall, Clark Atlanta University, where we were just going down. We never went to, I stayed on campus at the dorm, never went to class. You know, we went out with Little Zane. We met all kind of celebrities. I met Jeezy. Did we meet? I think we met Fat Joe. Like, we just met a lot of people. We went out with people who work with, when we went out with Little Zane, we went out with people who work with Puffy and Bad Boy. We just had good times. We never went to class because we stayed doing some fly shit. We stayed doing some different shit. We used to be at Lenox Mall, see Murder and Monica walking around Lenox Mall. So I had to bring my ass home because I was completely wasting my parents' money. But I would have loved to be in Atlanta last night because this was like my generation's turn up. I think Gucci said they went to Compound afterwards. So I know Atlanta was just fucking lit last night. So ATL, y'all did y'all thing last night. That was the best Verzus ever. I'm sure it was the highest viewed Verzus ever. And it was just the shit. And I really enjoyed that. So thank you to Gucci Mane. And thank you to Jeezy. Y'all know I had that So Icy on all motherfucking day. Gucci, Jeezy, and Boo. Quit hating pussy nigga, gon' do what you do. I just had to listen to that all day. All right, y'all. Madam X, Frequency Real Radio. And I'm out this bitch. I'll talk to y'all later. I'll come back with a tarot reading the sun. All right. Peace.